Welcome, everyone, to the Winning Together podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your life, your space, your day to be with us for a few minutes. And we're going to analyze some behaviors. So my name is Shay Bring the Rain Aslet, and across me I've got the clinician today, Jared Life's a Beach Casey. How are you today, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yes, you are. I can see. Something's changed about you in the last week since we talked last.
Yeah, it's called I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
And I'm excited.
I'm really, really proud of you for creating space for life to surprise you in ways that are better than even you thought were possible. To see you practice true abundance and courage and just going there over and over is truly inspiring.
Thank you, Shay.
Yeah. So anybody who has a chance to work with I Am Recovery, who sponsors this podcast, Jared is a clinician. He is also, if you were in the Star Wars universe, he would be Yoda. He is also a practitioner of...
I look like Yoda too, so it's a good combo.
Your vibe, your energy is totally there, yeah. And you're a practitioner of doing it. We don't just talk about it here at I Am Recovery. We do what we live what we say we do. I think that's what makes part of your energy so powerful in your world. Analyzing behaviors. This is kind of a big one. How do we want to narrow it down? Where do you want to, at the end of this discussion, here's what we want you to have. What would you want somebody to have who is wanting to go here with us?
There's a space that we don't understand about ourselves. Usually that's how we see ourselves and how other people see us. And we spend so much energy on how other people see us and not enough energy on how we see ourselves. We just kind of dismiss that inner self and wait till later. Put it in the someday category or the never category.
Or hyper prioritize it. That's the other end of the spectrum.
So my hope would be that this helps you look inward and find solutions to grow that inner self so that you can live in the now and stop putting that off to someday or somewhere or the never column.
Oh, you know what I love about what you're bringing up there is, so there's the saying is, I am not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who you think you think I am. And when you're always operating from that place of, I think I am who you think you think I am, it's the behaviors you end up practicing or doing. That's why a lot of times you're not able to connect them to the beliefs that are driving those, is because you're so not getting honest and real and accepting of what you do believe and what those behaviors are, how that's manifesting the behaviors you need to analyze.
Totally. And we see that show up a lot in our group rooms or individual therapy. People they'll hold on to this image of what they think they should be or who they should be. And they don't let themselves be present for themselves or their family, or they live in a way that's, like we spoke last time, out of integrity. And we have to commonly remind them, your best thinking got you here. Your best behaviors got you here. And grateful that you're on the way up. But just before you got here, you were in a lot of pain. Your life was really hard. There was a lot of misery and sadness and broken dreams. So yes, your best thinking got you here, gave you all that pain, but now let's learn from that pain. Let's analyze those behaviors that you were doing during your addiction and during your life that weren't working for you, and learn and do different.
And whether you call it getting feedback, whether you call it being held accountable, whether you call it counseling or coaching or repentance or changing your thinking errors or your whatever you call it, the process here is cutting out, letting go, pruning out the stuff that's not working, the way and what you're doing, and creating a space to do different, because the behaviors that you decide to practice create the personal reality that you experience, period.
And there's no shortcut. This is
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, you slipped, you got a big old scrape on your knee, and it's got gravel and dirt and mud in it. You don't just get to put a Band-Aid on it and hope it heals. You've got to clean it out. You got to wash it. You got to scrub it. You got to pull the gravel out. You got to put ointment on it. You got to care for the bandages. This is the real process.
There are no hacks.
There's no hacks. You can't think your way out of it.
No copy and pasting.
You have to behave your way out of it. You have to learn these behaviors. And we've said this before, but you don't get sick overnight. You don't get better overnight. So cutting out that all or nothing short circuit, bam, I got this, that's the first thing that's got to go.
Help me, so where does it, embracing the suck is part of the first step, right?
Learn from it so that it isn't something you keep repeating over and over again. We'll have this cycle where someone will start to get comfortable again. Like, oh, my life's getting better. I made some amends. I'm comfortable. And now I can go back to everything as it was before, all those behaviors I had, the environment I was in, the friends I had, the toxic relationships with my family, and I'm stronger now, so I'm going to last. Well, that doesn't last. It doesn't make it more than a week or two or a month at best. You get pulled back into those systems. So that space of I'm going to do different, and I'm going to keep pushing in the uncomfortable areas of my life forever. And they're going to expand and grow. And those are the behaviors that are going to give me the most yield.
One thing as a coach and as a person who has the gift to see people, one of the ways I think I will do better is catching earlier on and letting people know it's usually not, if you want to be alive in your life and you really want to like connect deeply with something that's magical inside you or something that's really rad, it's a clean like clear out. It's clearing out the closets and just taking them to the Goodwill and dumping it all off. All the good, all the bad. Like it's not a correction. It's not a modification. You didn't kind of do it kind of wrong, and that's why you kind of get caught and like you're kind of just like in trouble. And if you just do it smarter next time, it's the behaviors. They've got to go. And so if I could get people quicker to be it's all you got to clear it all out and make space, because just trying to correct it or do it smarter or run the same con is not going to get the behavior change necessary or required to experience really rad stuff.
The no bull approach is you have to change everything. Mm-hmm. If you go into a 12-step meeting and you say, I can drink casually and I take a few beers here and there and I'm okay.
Kind of above the problem.
They'll tell you to leave. It's all right. You're not ready for us. Mm-mm. Go. You have to change everything. And that applies here. And I like that you brought up this closet analogy, because it reminds me of a C.S. Lewis analogy where he talks about inviting your higher power into your house. You know, your house being your body and your mind. And you ask your higher power, hey, I've got this problem. I want you to fix my kitchen sink. You know, whatever that problem is, your kitchen sink might be, I'm not nice to people. So come fix that I'm not nice to people. And your higher power comes into your house, takes a few looks around, rips out the kitchen sink, gets it nice and cleaned up, and then it sees over to the side that there's something wrong in the tile. The tile's got some cracks in it. Maybe you're not being honest at work or something, and that's your tile.
Oh, then he finds a bunch of mold.
Under there. So higher power goes, starts ripping out the tile. And then that natural human reaction is, wait. I didn't say you could do that. I didn't give you permission to rip out the other things. Like, I only wanted you to fix my kitchen sink. And C.S. Lewis makes the point, God looks at you and says, I didn't come here for the kitchen sink. I came here for all of you. Everything. 100%.
What does it take to go there, Jared?
Humility, pain, a desire for something better, a realization, an awakening to this is not working. My life as it is not working. I am not happy. I'm not contented. This is not who I want to be or how I want to live. And just, that's the start. That's the pain. And then having the courage to stay in it for the entire renovation. Because each piece is raw. Each piece is vulnerable. Each piece hurts a little. It's that gravel in the wound that's getting pulled out. But what's made from it is better. Little by little, piece by piece, brick by brick, 1% at a time, going right back at it. Feeling it.
It's possible for you to feel different, experience different, and be different. It's also a great practicing courage and vulnerability to let go of what it needs to look like and focus on what you want to feel. So, and allowing yourself to kind of gravitate to a specific like feeling, joy. I want joy in this relationship and I will do whatever it takes. I want workability in this area of my life. I want my family to feel together. I want my family to feel whole. I want a sense of wholeness. Gravitate to one thing, and when you know what you want to feel like or what you want to experience, even though you might not know the specifics, then as the behavior, like, hey, this is the behavior that needs to go, you're putting that pain of letting it go or changing it or owning it to a purpose that's bigger than that, and that's what helps you move through the behavior change or analysis or awareness process.
We are rewards-based creatures. Like, we need to know that there's something better. There's a value to it. And seeing the pain and then recognizing that's the opposite. I don't want to live this way anymore. And then attaching it to joy or attaching it to love or to purpose, that reward is infinitely better, but it takes the work in progress to get there and to be willing to, all right, this sucks, this hurts, this is hard, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
So the and there is key. You've got to start putting and in your sentences and your dreams and your stories and your beliefs. The other part of that is you have to survive, and you are here right now. And part of the grieving process is acknowledging that those beliefs, they got you here. And there's a lot of things that you had to do or that they had to believe or be so you could be here. So now you're here, that's great. But to go where you want to go where we are, like we want to go with you, you've got to then allow them to be dismantled. And I think a big breakthrough for me is allowing the possibility that some of them are yours, some of them are not yours, and some of them are from this family system or dynamic that you were raised in whatever that looked like.
Or people who just affected your life that had no real reason to do it other than they were there.
Yep, or experiences, you bet.
Dismantling that material gives you the ability to rework that material and recreate something different. So when you're inviting those people into your house or your higher power into your house to dismantle, all that can be reworked. It can be reutilized and put into something better.
You're willing to look, you're willing to go there. Do you want to get into the how-to, or is there something else you want to kind of identify about analyzing beliefs that from a clinician standpoint you see or observe or want to highlight?
I think one piece that just kind of what you touched on was starting to be aware of what's mine, what's been given to me. A lot of us, when we sit in our shame, we take an extra slice of the blame pie. Like maybe this blame pie, we are responsible for one slice, but we feel the weight of, well, I'm not good enough. I should be better. I could be better. And I'll eat mom's slice too. I'll eat my friend's slice too. I'll eat that guy who hurt me or that lady who hurt me slice. And then we become this being that's just full of blame and shame. And it's this repulsive, I take it all. Now the downside, the rub on that is that also becomes a backdoor.
Totally.
You know what? Since I am a dirtbag, I'm going to go do dirtbag things.
Yeah, great reason to punk out because you feel like, you got punked on, so go be a punk.
So that either comes out and I dirtbag to myself and I abuse my body, I go use a bunch of drugs to feel different, or I don't take care of myself, or I punk out on other people. I spread the abuse around. Now, I'm going to give all this blame pie to everyone when they're in front of me. Whoever's around me, bad timing. Look out, here I come. Truck's backing up, beep, beep, beep.
I think that's kind of a big deal because so your body is there to serve you. So I've noticed too the analyzing the behaviors a lot of times, especially anxiety prone, in your head a lot. And if you tend to distract or you have a practice of boredom because it's a choice, by the way, it doesn't just happen. You're choosing to be bored, you're in your head. You're not allowing your body to give you feedback on those behaviors that are not serving you or serving you where the person you want to become. So allowing yourself to get into your body. So you're going to feel negative emotion. You're going to feel resistance. You're going to feel separation. You're going to feel icky. You're going to feel disoriented. That's feedback for you that these behaviors will not get you where you want to go.
And the disconnect is a lot of people's heads are not connected to their bodies anymore. Mm-hmm. And whatever way you do that, if it's obsessive TV watching or whatever, pornography, or you just disconnect, have your phone up watching Facebook all day. It's a great distraction that I don't have to listen to my body. My back hurts. My throat, my stomach hurts. I have anxiety. I'm always worrying. I'm not listening anymore. So that self-awareness is, all right, I can think about it now. I can think that this isn't working for me. How can I behave differently? How do I behave in a way that puts down the phone and does a few extra push-ups and goes for walks with my dog, or is physically aware that I need to stretch and I need to pay attention, that my body needs adequate sleep and rest? How do I behave that way and start creating a pattern that sets me up for a routine of success instead of the rut I'm in that's leading towards this pain?
So a couple things I want to highlight here as you're talking about that is being more outcome driven will get you into a place where you get stuck in your behaviors. So outcome is, so whether it is you're the person who's going to like own everyone else's junk and make it all about you, the outcome is you get an excuse to punk out and do what you want to do, okay? Or if you're, you see this a lot of sales or a lot of anything that's in any business that you're highly measured, if it's all outcome driven, the family's got to look a certain way, the sex when they're in the relationship's got to be a certain way, the feeling I got to like look like I put together, the body's got to be like, if you're totally outcome driven, you're going to really struggle analyzing your behaviors. And if you are drinking, as Marie Forleo calls it, the comparison schlager of just like comparing, if you're throwing that back too, your skill set and ability to actually analyze behaviors is going to be weak.
And it's been said that comparison is the killer of joy.
Totally.
So if you want a life that's full of joy, a life that's more, you have to let go of that comparison and let go of that way of thinking.
So what is a metric someone can use to analyze behaviors? A rubric, not mother?
I feel like this goes into being okay with feelings and being okay with who you are. I mean, self-compassion is the salve of being okay with who you are.
Self-acceptance is not self-complacency, by the way. It's not the same thing.
I have a client that's been struggling with body image issues, and this client is in good shape, really good shape. And when this client hits the goals, gets to the desired body image that they want, look in the mirror, and all this client sees is a fat person, or someone they don't like, or someone who's got bad skin, or someone who doesn't have the ear in the right place, or there's something wrong. So that energy in never is good enough. That outcome of I need to be here, I need to be there, it never is enough. And there's always this anxiety and this frustration and this self-dislike.
You totally just generated a new insight for me, that hypercriticism is not analyzing behaviors. Being hypercritical is actually counterproductive to analyzing behaviors and getting the changes that you want to do. And so here's a perfect example. You have the neighbor who wants to go on vacation, and they're not happy though. They're not happy around their house. Their kids are always this, their husband's that. This isn't enough. Like they're nice, but like they're not in their life, right? When you're on vacation, guess what? If you're not happy here, you're not going to be happy there. If you're not doing joy here, if you're not doing joy as a practice in your life now, the body, when it's whatever, you're not going to feel it then. The relationship, when it's whatever, when the kids are doing whatever, you're not going to feel it then if you're not practicing feeling it now.
That's such a powerful thing. It's a magnifier of all things. Now, we have a common problem now where we see some of these behaviors that we recognize we need to change. And we start attacking it as all of them at once. I got to get them all fixed right now, really quick. And only the ones that I see as valid. So we save our let's call it our favorite vices or bad behaviors for the end. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the ones we need. This shows up sometimes in group. This happened even last night. I had one client who came into the program where marijuana had ruined her life. It had ruined a marriage. She was lazy. She gained a lot of unwanted weight. Was just not feeling good. Ruined a marriage. Came into the program.
Which is something that was important to her.
It was important, very important. Came to the program holding on to, when I leave here, I'm still going to smoke marijuana because it's not an addiction. The research says blah, 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 blah. But it ruined my life. Well,
Oh, and by the way, it's not healthy for your brain either. That's the research as well.
so it came around full circle. Fast forward several months, this client has now come to the realization that no, I don't want marijuana in my life. For me, it's not good. She voiced this opinion really strong in group, saying this is not for me. It's really hard for me to hear other people justify it because it takes me back to that dark place when I was struggling. And lo and behold, a couple people in the group were really hard on her. Well, your body experience is different than mine does, and
Interesting.
you don't understand how it is, and like, so a lot of our clients are still holding out. Like, well, when I leave here, when the restrictions are lifted, I can go back to smoking weed. I can go back to having a few drinks. I can go back to my Adderall, even though I abused it. I can go back to these things that's not I don't know. It's just not really working. How do we make that work? How do we get someone to that spot?
Well, here's the danger spot when you point out, so, okay, you're willing to take feedback, you're analyzing behaviors, you make changes, and your life is out of a place of pain or total chaos and not unworkability. So now it's better, right? And I think this is where in a lot of relationships, spouses are reluctant to give praise or encouragement to their partner because they feel if they do, they'll quit doing the thing that they want them to do. That's a big deal because then you feel totally trapped in your ability to help somebody else because you feel like if you tell them like you're doing a good job, they're going to stop. Okay, so this place of my life doesn't suck anymore, so I can I can do these other things again. I just didn't do it right the first time. That's a dangerous place in analyzing behaviors.
And one way I look at that is like your growth is not your own. You've shared that growth with your coach. You shared that with your counselors. You shared that with everyone in the group room. They've lifted you up. They've supported you. Your family's forgiven you. They've worked through a lot of
You don't get there by yourself. Exactly. You didn't go to some hotel and hide out for 3 weeks and now you're better. You have a lot of people that have put you into a better place, living space. I love that.
So fast forward a few months. Okay, you're out of treatment now. You're moving on.
Don't need the coaches anymore.
You're not connecting with your coach,
yeah,
counselor.
exactly.
You're not going to a meeting here
Group
and
is
there.
for broke people.
Yeah, I'm better. Well, those few beers, they weigh a lot more. Few concessions that you make, they're a lot more damaging because you no longer are utilizing all that support. You're actually kind of being selfish. You're seeing this, I did this on my own. I am my success instead of we are the success together.
That is actually massive.
In my own life, when, like you said, if I hold it in for me and I don't share with my kids, I don't share with my wife, and I try to kind of hold on to everything, I don't let them be part of my growth, and I don't get to partake in that joy now and when we go and do things together.
Part of that then is understanding that it's allowing yourself to be influenced by different people allows the behavior to be analyzed better and change. So for those of you that are listening and you want you're good. It's the other person you want to change. It's your son, it's your spouse, it's your grandpa, whatever. If you will allow the changed behavior or the analysis of it to happen from somebody else that can influence them, and you don't have to take the credit, you will find breakthroughs that you didn't know existed around you.
This totally happened to me this week. My son got offered an opportunity to interview for an internship at a really successful company. And I've been giving him all this advice on how to interview and how to be a good worker, how to be a good employee. Well, he goes and meets this guy, and he's a really kind guy. And he tells him almost the exact same things that I told him.
Wait. So he's not just kind. He's also highly, I'm not going to use the word successful, but he's good at business. He's made a lot of money, and he's a good person, like a genuine human being. So it's not just a nice guy being nice. Like this is somebody who is the real deal, right?
Totally.
Okay.
So he sits down. This guy gives him an hour of his time. He's a super busy guy. Obviously, this is a big sacrifice. Tells him almost everything I told him. And my son's attentive. He's listening. He's engaged. He's like, wow, that really is a good idea. Wow, that is an opportunity. Wow, like the light bulbs are coming on. And when I was telling him all the same things, it was a dark room and no one was flipping any switches.
Yeah, Dad, you told us.
But I was grateful. I was really grateful. And then come around for a second interview with him. I give him some more insights, some more feedback. I'm like, this is what you need to do. You come in a shirt and a tie, you put on a suit, you show up, you present with your head up high and your shoulders straight, and you shake a hand, and you look him in the eye. all these things.
Classic how to win friends and influence people and stuff, right?
Totally.
Yep.
So he goes and talks to him. And now, mind you, this guy's business partner is the one that really is going to make the decision. So he's kind of coaching my son. And my son's like, well, how do you think I should dress? And how should I show up? And you wear a suit and a tie, have your shoulders up high, you shake the hand, you look him in the eye, all the same stuff. And I'm just kind of sitting in the background like, thank you. Thank you that it does take a village to raise a kid. And I appreciate that you are there for them and he's getting that information.
That's a way to win together. If you're not, haven't been open to that, open up to it. And I'm going to notice you. I'm really impressed and proud of you for not letting that trigger you. And like the result is I want my kid to have opportunities and be around people like that and to let it happen from that way. So let go of it has to come from you. Like you want your spouse to acknowledge that you're the person that straightened them out. Let it go. And like find that friend of theirs and tell that friend, hey, I want this from my person. Can you like give them some advice or tell them like, this is what I'm trying to, can you just like tell them the same stuff and see what happens and allow that influence to come from somewhere else. And I promise you, you will get traction in areas you haven't gotten traction before.
And I gotta share a little bit of notice for my mom, Winona Casey. She's the one who kind of instilled that in me from a long time ago. And she would say, you can never love a kid too much. And a kid can't have too much love from too many sources. There's just no reason to hold back and not love and give that love. My wife used to babysit a lot, and she even had a little daycare inside her house. And some of the kids started calling her mom from time to time. They're little. They're 3, 4, 5 years old. They're little. This is like a mother, mom. Well, one of the mothers overheard and said, that's not right. That kid should be calling me mom, not you, mom. I'm taking my kid out, not coming back to your place anymore. Boom, gone. Ooh. Now, to make things worse, we still have a relationship with that family and have seen how it's kind of played out in life. It's a mess. Like that child needed more love, needed as much as it could get. Because whatever scarcity was going on in that home, even though mom took the loving other caregivers out, still didn't give that kid enough. And if you're like me, you need a lot. You need as many resources as support to help lift you up and help you grow. So
it's an excellent, the areas you get triggered by other people. So that mom in that moment, she knew, her inner wisdom was telling her like, you need to do, like, that's what your kid needs and it's happening from somebody else and you can do better on that. And so instead of surrendering to that kind of feedback and that analyzing the behavior, she actually doubled down on the poor behavior.
Absolutely.
So when you're like getting triggered by somebody else or somebody saying stuff and it really riles you up, there you go. You want to analyze behaviors? Look for the ugly mirror. Look for that person that you want to compare or hate or put down or whatever. That's the behavior you can analyze and that you need to work on yourself. If you want more joy, connection, abundance, love, creativity.
Well, Jordan Peterson talks about in rule number 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not with someone else who is today. So if you're seeing that internal issue, I need to change, well, don't take away from those. Lean in, praise. I'm like, great, that's awesome. How do I learn from that, mom? How come your kid calls you mom and not me? Is there something I can learn from you? Is it the quality time? Is it the affection? Is it the praise? What is it? So using that as a learning point instead of a negative, you can just say to yourself, thank you for the feedback. That negative voice inside your head that says, I'm not a good mom or I'm not a good dad, thank you for the feedback. I'm going to work on that, and I will work on that. I will figure out how to be better, but I'm not going to rip the resources away that are already helping and supporting.
It's not about you. It's about the other person or the experience you want. Another thing about the comparison, I'm going to go after the social media part. How about you go out and like put people up instead of comparing yourself or putting down yourself? And here's an example. One of my best friends from high school has had an extremely successful business and has this beautiful house, gorgeous. And it's one of those moments where in my life, the way the path has been, there was part of it I felt really, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and exactly where I was supposed to be, but it wasn't how maybe I thought it was supposed to look like. And so I felt, so as I owned it, it was hard to look at how their life has been and where my life is. The more I practiced love Shay all the way, no matter what. I've gone to a place that I went over to his house and just complimented the crap out of his house. It was awesome. And he knew it wasn't coming from like, I'm buttering you up. I was genuine. And then he had this, like the biggest quarter he'd ever had a couple years ago. And I made sure later on when he told me, and it was in the millions of dollars that he had done. And I said, wow, dude, that is incredible. You are doing so rad. I'm so proud. I'm so grateful that you're my friend and that you're doing so much success and good stuff in there. Where that's come out is our kids now play together. We're still great friends. When we're around each other, it's not about the money. It's about who we are as people. And since I don't compare, he doesn't compare, they've actually been really real with us and open and honest about some of their struggles and what they're going through and what they're like. And we've been able to meet each other in the place of like serving each other. That has been beautiful. So you go and you start putting up people that you want to actually put down and say, good job. I'm proud of you. That's amazing. Incredible. How would somebody like get there? You do that and you shift your whole perspective, and then you don't see it as analyzing behaviors. You think about, these are the skills I got to get where I want to go. I don't care about dumping this old crap.
That's just an incredible viewpoint. And I've struggled with that in many ways. Even the other day, I was driving my truck in the snow and I saw this Lamborghini going through 6 inches of snow, and my gut's like, that guy does not care about his really expensive car, and it doesn't matter to him if he wrecks that sucker. What a tool. Like, I'm like, just this little resentment, like, yeah, who's got so much money they can trash a Lamborghini? Like, that's just not smart, right? But that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
None of that matters. Like,
nope.
If he doesn't care about a Lamborghini, then maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he's at a point in his life where he's like, this isn't as important. I don't know.
Or maybe he's having a day like, could you even drive a Lamborghini in snow? I'm going to go find out. And he's just having fun. Since you don't know, and it doesn't even matter, you practice showing up in the way that you'd want somebody to show up for you, and your your feeling will instantly change.
But that behavior that comes out, like, I kind of vocalize like, whoa, what a jerk. And I'm driving my kids to school, and like, yeah, he's a jerk. So I'm imprinting on my children, like, you should judge people who have more than you.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not where I want
to be. At the same time, Lamborghini is probably one of your dream cars. So it's one of mine, for sure.
I could sport that.
Totally.
I can enjoy it.
Yes. Can I tell you, I'm going to just throw in a little story there. So my wife and I, when we were dating back a few eras ago, there used to be a high-end sports car dealership in South Jordan around 106th. And our code for going to make out was, let's go look at Lamborghinis. And we were actually in front of the place making out, and we got busted by a cop. But we were like older, and so it was hilarious actually to get busted making out in front of. But that's our code. That's awesome. You want to go look at Lamborghinis? Yeah.
To kind of go along this story, just last summer there was a little boy up in Ogden, Utah, that was obsessed with sports cars, and he really, really wanted one. So he got in his parents' van, he got on the freeway, driving to L.A. where all these Lamborghinis are.
Oh, wow.
He got pulled over, right, safely. He was 8 years old driving this Lamborghini.
Oh, my goodness.
Not Lamborghini. Van.
In his mind, it was a Lamborghini.
And there was the story kind of twisted. Like, it started from his parents don't care about their kid and they'll let him drive a car, to like, he just really had a dream to drive a Lamborghini. So lo and behold, some guy who's got a Lamborghini called the family and said, hey, can I take your kid for a ride?
No way.
Let's do it. So he went and picked him up, got him in the Lamborghini, drove him around, turned this like deeply shameful like experience into like, you know what? Why not? Why not? And that guy, he's probably been judged by lots of people for his money in his Lamborghini, but he gave to that little 8-year-old kid that day. It was awesome.
Because guess what? He doesn't judge himself, and he doesn't like make it his Lamborghini about other things. Then it's just the joy of sports cars. And when he saw an 8-year-old like have the joy of sports cars, he recognized it. And this is a great tie into, this is the axiom: good things come to those who ask. And part of an analyzing behavior is finding people that have your best interest at heart and asking. You option to, of course, go ask the people that are going to tell you what you want to hear. No, you're good. You don't need to change. Like, that's them. It's other people. You go ask people who have your best interest at heart, and they will give you what's good for you, not what you want to hear, not what is comfortable, not what is easy. They will give you what's good for you. And that's the other thing that Jordan Peterson's talked about is desire out of life what's good for you, and then you'll be able to analyze and let go of the behaviors and adopt the ones that matter because you're willing to ask.
And it's how you do It's what you do with the feedback. If people take that initial feedback, say it's small, like, someone tells you that you leave the toilet paper on wrong or something, or the toothpaste doesn't go in the way you roll the little bottom.
Can you do the dishes differently? Will you go ahead and do this? Please do that.
So you get to that point where you're willing to ask whatever that is, and you snap or you react, and you're like, no, I do it fine. Like, they're not going to give you any more feedback in a positive way. It's going to go back to the negative way. Like, the only way you listen is through negative feedback. But if you're like, you know what, I'll look at that. Even if it's hard, even if it hurts, even if it's something small.
Oh, it will. No, it has to. To get where you want to go, it has to be uncomfortable. You can make it safe, but it's got to be uncomfortable.
And as you keep going back to the well, all right, I did the change. I worked on it. You go back to them and say, hey, what else can I do?
And guess what? You don't have to like it, and it doesn't have to change your life, but it does have to keep you on the path to getting where you want to go and helping other people get where they want to go along the way.
And what happens? They give you a lot more, and it gets deeper. It gets more real. And you work through resentments. You work through years of trauma, years of bad communication, and you have something worth having. You have a real, genuine connection with that person.
And for many of you listening, freedom is what you want more than anything right now. And I'm going to totally steal this from Jocko Willink. Discipline equals freedom. So as you make a practice of analyzing behaviors and asking for feedback and doing different, that discipline, which you'll do a ton of things that you just don't want to, and they kind of suck, and it's all that stuff, yep, but it gets you what you really want, and then you become free.
There's this common saying that comes up, and it comes up in all of us: someday I'm going to be happy.
Oh, yes.
Someday I'm going to get what I want. A friend of mine who kind of trained me and taught me about this, he does a lot of sales, and when you're selling on the road, like, you have to be good at it. And in his business, they'd go and they'd have sales Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to sell like real estate. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they use the word someday all the time. Because a lot of us talk about, well, someday I'm going to get my dream house. Someday I'm going to go on my vacation. Someday I'm going to work less. So they talk about it all week long. Well, someday you're going to invest, and someday you're going to make money, and someday your life's going to be what you want, and you're going to have financial freedom, and all those cookies about what's coming someday. Well, on Sunday, it shifts to Sunday is the day you're investing. Sunday is the day you're going to get what you need. Sunday is the day you're going to live your dreams. Playing off the someday to Sunday, people lean into change. Well, today's the day. All right, I'm going to invest. Here's my wallet. Here's my money. And not to make light of it, there's some manipulation there. But it moves people from the state of change to the present. Sunday has come. Here we are. Here's your opportunity right in front of you. Are you ready? Are you going to do it? Today is Sunday. Go.
Well, there's science behind that too. And to allow yourself to surrender to things that, sure, maybe they're hokey or manipulative or whatever. If you allow the science to now work for you, instead of always putting it out there that my life will be better in the future than it is right now, boy, the resentments you're going to have to fix if you wait till that someday are going to take away any joy or any, like, what you think is going to happen. And in our family, here's one of the truths. All we have is today. And so we do joy today. We do I'm sorry today. We do I can do better today. We do all that today. And the more we practice that, the more the behavior, like holding on to that stuff, it's not even important because all I have is today. And so I've got to do different to get what I want to do because it's not, we have retirement, we have 401k, we have long-term planning, all that stuff. I'm not saying that. But you don't have time. Like, you think you have time. You don't. If you're listening to this, you do not have time for your life to get better in the future. You've got you option to bring that into your day today in small ways by analyzing the behaviors that are getting what you got and analyzing the ones that will get you where you want to go.
We had a friend of ours come talk to us about how someday I'm going to learn how to play guitar. Someday my kids are going to thank me for all the sacrifices I gave them, for all the time, energy I spent. Someday when my kids are all fixed.
I'm happy if my kids are doing good.
When they're good, it's conditional. When they're good, I'm good.
Yep. All conditional.
You start speaking to that and you say, well, what's holding you up from getting a guitar? I don't have money for that. That's expensive. I can't do that. No way. Well, have you looked on the classifieds? Have you looked on the ads? Have you found a free one? My other neighbor got one for $5. Is that within the realm of reason? That's not for me. There's no way that would happen. So there's this belief from these behaviors that things are always going to be bad for me until everything else is better. I'm always the back burner. I'm always number two. Well, your kids learn that. Your family members learn that. Everyone around you learns that. And whether they mean to or not, they're either going to be manipulating you or they're never going to be good enough for you because you're
and
never
the person
happy.
you have an addiction, you are attracting that person that someday they will get clean because you are living in someday too.
100%. As you as a family member start to live your now, like you've said before, Shay, your retirement matters. Your money right now matters more than your son's porn addiction or their next whatever. Like you have to start practicing you.
Your joy is as high a priority as anybody else's. Period.
And as you live that way, you also show other people that you too can be happy.
And that's how you lead. I mean, that's how you lead out in the way that you are meant to lead out. And I know it's a big concept and it will fry some circuits. But your joy and feeling good is not conditional on what's going on in your life. It's not conditional on your behaviors. It's not conditional on your spouse. It's not conditional on your kids. You're choosing to do joy or not do joy is totally and entirely up to you, not conditional on anything else. And it's a practice. So yeah, it feels super weird. Yep, it's kind of hard. Yep. You practice that, and then no matter where you are, joy is with you because you carry it. It's not out there in the trip. It's not out there in the kids doing well. It's not out there in the, I will learn this gift and talent. No, it's in you. And since it's always been inside you and you are like letting it out and sharing it, the behaviors, like the beliefs go, the behaviors go, and all sorts of good stuff starts showing up.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
And we didn't come this far to come this far.
This is not the hill you're going to die on.
It's not. Because we are the people with the axe, and we will come down and chop the door and come get you. And we will find you, and we're coming for you because that's what we do, and that's how we are. Final observations, Jared?
I love the word cultivate.
Okay.
Cultivate takes time. It's not something that you do right away. It's something you plant a seed. You water that seed. You give it sunlight. You give it good soil. You care for it. You protect it, and you watch it grow. That's what these behaviors take. You didn't get sick overnight. You're not going to get better overnight. Your family members didn't get sick overnight. They're not going to get better overnight. Practice it 1% at a time, but be consistent and understand that it will hurt. There will be pain, but there will be substantial reward, substantial gains, substantial abundance, and it will bear really, really good fruit that will be life-altering and game-changing and put you in miracle territory in a season. Now, cultivate does take a season, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Don't quit on it when it's starting to sprout. Don't quit on it when the fruit's just showing and maybe a little bit's growing. Wait for it. Keep working it.
You also can't rush it, and there will be periods of time along with those where you don't feel anything. You take or leave it, and you're wondering if it's even working, or you even think it's not, or you believe truly like this is not going to work. The truth is, if you practice the process and you say, I'm going to be this type of person, it just doesn't matter if anything happens, I'm just going to do this. You'll be able to work through those times as well. You won't rush it, and you will actually bear the fruits from it.
Take this information, take what you've been learning, look in the mirror, look at your body, listen to yourself, love you, say nice things to you, be right with you. Cultivate that inside you. You can't keep waiting to love you for other people to love them. Practice that, and that will be a game changer, no matter if you're struggling with eating addictions or if you're struggling with body image or if you're struggling with anything, really anything that comes about. When you're good with you and you learn to love yourself and can be comfortable with that person in the mirror, in the eyes, you are on the way to greatness.
And this is my final notice, my all or nothing crowd. So you all or nothing crowd, okay? and you want to change it all at the same time, and you feel you're so pumped that you think you can do it. I used to really hear this part of a Tony Robbins, theme would stick out to me when I listened to him, and it was, you've got to take massive action to like change. And I thought what it meant was quantity, and it's relative. So massive action for you may just be smoking less cigarettes. It may just be not being a cranky, ornery person for the morning. So massive action is relative. It's just got to feel massive to you. It doesn't matter what it looks like, and actually allowing things that kind of are easy or you like or you really care about, those be the areas where you analyze the behaviors. There you can generate some momentum, and you can like kind of let go of the desire to rush it or put like try and do everything all at the same time. I know you feel like it, but if you look back, you'll find probably you're the person who quits after a little, before you actually bear the fruit. So allow like the massive action to be like relative. It's not all or nothing. It's a process. And if it's a practice and a process, that means when you get there, you will own it, and it won't slip from you like other things have from you in the past.
And a way I look at that is you're completing the renovations, you're allowing them to come, and you're also being okay with it. When you do get the new sink, take a minute and enjoy it. I feel joy. This is awesome. Be contented for some time, like really feel it, but then allow it to move on to the next and continue to work through it. One friend of mine described it as, it's like going on a train and you're going to a scenic lookout. The train pulls over. This is your destination. You've arrived at the Grand Canyon. You get out, you look, you take it in, you breathe it in. This is good. Then you get back in the train, and along the way, there's something else great. You can keep going to the next destination. The train doesn't have to stop, but you should be getting out at some of those stops, and you should be taking it in and letting yourself feel it. Too many people are like, oh, well, Grand Canyon is cool, I'll catch it next time. And they just keep trying to go to the next, to the next, to the next, to what they think is the greatest destination when they're missing it along the way. They're missing the mark. There's so much beauty in your life today, right now. Keep going.
Do the things that generate the feelings for you, and let go of that you're doing them to make sure you capture the picture to share on social media of what people would think. And you will feel so much better. Jared, life's a beach. Casey, I love working with you. How can people find some support, some grit to do good through the Iron Recovery operation that supports this podcast?
Today, I just hope that you find a way to share something you learned today. Just pick anything you learned, share it with somebody, and if they want to learn more, have them follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, or come find us on our website at iamrtc.com. Or call us if you know that you need a little extra support. You need counseling, you need coaching, you need substance abuse recovery. 801-407-9998.
This is Shay. I bring the rain. Aslet, bring another Win Together podcast to a close. Thank you, and go forth and connect and rock, everyone.